Okay. Now I actually gotta start.
Oh, we're starting. Oh, we're being professional now because we weren't before.
Some type.
I didn't notice.
Some type of professional.
Some type of professional.
Okay. So hi, welcome to this thing I thought up. I realized one day that we needed another fucking dance game podcast. So
And I agreed.
yes. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna do interviews, right? And today, the guest of honor is Chief Skittles.
How's it going?
Or Trevor. He is
not particular.
I'm going to be referring to him as Trevor. This entire time.
That's totally okay.
Chief Skittles is too many goddamn syllables.
I agree. That's why people call me Tev.
So this man over here, he is probably about a fifth of your current tournament packs. He has quite the accolades among him. He made Bubble in the Air. Great charts. Arcology on Permafrost.
Yeah, Arcology on Permafrost.
Arcology on Permafrost. Great charts.
That one's made a couple of waves, I guess.
You know, he's also in the the ECFA qualifiers. That song Pangendrum.
Yeah.
Pangendrum.
Yeah.
Pangendrum. There's lots of stuff. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for hosting this.
Thank you for wanting to listen to me talk. That's fast. The concept of people wanting to listen to me is fascinating.
Let's start at the beginning. Right?
Yeah.
How are you today?
I'm good. You know, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. You know, obviously by the time you see this, it'll be after Thanksgiving, but there's a retrospective Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm doing good. I cleaned my house. I slept late. All that good stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Gotta be productive on our days off, since I live 16 or 17 hours away from my family by vehicle, you know. Just have to, gotta find ways to spend your time on holidays that make you not think about that too hard.
Exactly. We're the family now.
You are the family.
You, the viewer.
The viewers.
Okay.
Indeed. So, all my third cousins twice removed or something. You're not in the will, don't get excited.
Could you tell us about how you got into dance games in the first place?
In general?
In general.
So, and this is a serious question. Do you want like the very, very like full version back to the beginning? Or okay, so when was this? So I want to say I was 13, maybe 14 years old. I lived in a city down in southeast Alabama, Dothan. If you've heard of it, it's not exactly like tiny, but you know, it doesn't have much going for it. Make a lot of peanuts. So in the Dothan Mall, when I was 13 years old, give or take, there was a small little arcade that had your typical assortment of arcade games in that period. You know, there was Soul Calibur 2, Marvel vs. Capcom, all that good stuff. But naturally, you know, you can't have an arcade in, when was this? I guess this was the early 2000s. Let's see, because I'm 28. That would be 15 years ago. Yeah, that would be early 2000s, wouldn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, like 2003, 2004, give or take.
If you were 13?
Yeah, because I'm 28 now. That was 15 years ago. Yeah. 15 or 16 years ago.
Damn, 15, 16 years. I mean, I feel like that's pretty common for people in the community.
Yeah, well, the thing is, a lot of people started 15 or 16 years ago and they played consistently. I did not have that kind of luck. So this arcade in southeast Alabama, naturally they had a DDR Extreme cab, as like literally everyone and their brother gets started on DDR Extreme.
It's the mix.
It's the mix. So I played on that for about a year. I got up to like 7s and 8s, I think. And then the arcade closed down. And after that, I did not touch a dance game again until I was 21.
Shit.
Yes.
Damn, that's a lot of years.
Yes.
You missed Supernova, man.
Yes, I did. I did not get to move over for Supernova. So anyway, so I got started on it, and I was like, a 13-year-old little kid. I just wanted to be cool, and I was like, all the cool kids are.
No, I think that was like when we were around 13. I think that's when like ITG or not ITG,
ITG 1 had come out sometime or another, because I remember there was a different arcade in my area that had an ITG 1 machine. I had no idea what the fuck I was looking at. I saw they were like, and a guy like dropped down and he's like, yeah, actually, it was back in the day when hands were actually hands, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna go back and play B4U, man. Fuck that. But anyway, so I got started on it in when I was 13, and I didn't, when that arcade closed down, I didn't touch it until I was 20 or 21. I was on internship in Pensacola, Florida. There was a bowling alley that was like 5 minutes away from where they had all the interns housed, that had a really, really well-maintained Supernova 1 cab.
Okay.
So really, I would not say that I started playing dance games until I was 20, 21, about 8 years ago, and I did not have regular, frequent, constant access until I was 24.
Okay.
So I've only been hardcore playing for like 5 years.
5 years? Only 5 years?
Yeah.
Only 5
Well, I mean, like everyone else I talked to, been like, I've been playing since I got out of second grade and I bought my own Dedicab, and I'm like, all right, cool.
You know what? You have a bachelor's in dance games at least. You're working on your master's.
I'm working on my master's.
You know, I would say you went above and beyond. You have your master's in 5 years. This guy.
But anyway, yeah. So that's how I got started. That's obviously skipping out on a lot of stuff. All the emotions and the heart pouring out. That's.
Yeah. But I am curious, what made you choose to chart? Why did you start charting?
You can edit this out because I'm thinking, or you can not. You can just like have it. Yeah. I think I wanted to be famous.
You wanted to be famous?
Yeah.
Dance game famous?
Dance game famous.
I
look back on that now and I think, wow. If only I could punch that motherfucker square in the jaw.
That's life.
Fame sucks.
I
wouldn't even say I'm famous. God, I hope I'm not. No.
I mean, you're on the show. This is the show for famous people.
I don't know about that.
Hey, no one not famous ever had a green screen behind them.
No. I thought it was just interesting. And, naturally, like most music game players, I love music. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I want to do something with music. And I want to mix it with something else that I love. So I was like, I'll screw around with charting.
The
natural kind of fit together. Yeah. It honestly didn't, and it also didn't seem hard. It honestly seemed kind of easy, so I figured I could get into it with low effort.
Was that true?
Sort of.
Okay. I feel like definitely like getting into
it's easy. Getting good at it is hard.
Yes. I agree. As someone who doesn't really chart myself, I
don't know, man. You made the hit technical showcase banger "Say My Name" that only true patricians could appreciate.
True, that is true. I think that one got like third to last.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Wasn't that great?
One day.
Very ingenuitive.
There's
ingenuity. There's very ingenuity.
There's at least 4 kilos of ingenus in it. Has your approach to step charting changed from now versus when you start? I mean, like obviously it's going to change, but how would you say it has changed?
I would say probably the biggest part of what it has changed from when I started to now is I am substantially more picky and choosy with the music that I chart. Like when I started, I was literally just like, if I even like kind of liked a song, I was like, all right, I'm putting arrows to it. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, I'm very, very picky about it. That's one reason why my charting has slowed down somewhat lately, is because like I'm much more choosy about what I want to chart. So that's one thing. I'm a lot more careful about making sure I have a fully like fledged idea that I want to explore in my head before I sit down and start doing all the work. Whereas when I started, it was just like, hey, this song's kind of cool. I'll just make some easy little 9 to it. And I'm like, well, I don't want to make a 9. I want to make something exciting.
9s aren't cool anymore.
Yeah, well, Chatterbox. You know, there's some cool ones. Yeah, you don't pay attention to charts.
I do. Now that it's my job to be an interviewer, I have been looking at charts.
Also, I know how to chart stamina now. I actually appreciate 16th streams, which, let me tell you what, I can get into that, but we'll save that for later.
Actually, we can actually get into it now. Fuck it, why not? Because you are primarily a
technical charter.
You are primarily a technical charter, right?
You want to know between technical charting and stamina charting, which one I've gotten money for?
Which one?
Stamina.
Oh.
And yet people still don't listen to me when I say measure long monodirectional box streams aren't fun. You shouldn't do that. I'm sorry. I'm getting mean.
It's all good. It's all mean. So then I guess so there is kind of like it's dying down, thank God, but there's kind of like a ridge or like a valley between the tech side and the stamina side of things.
A regrettable circumstance for sure.
So I guess because now that you've kind of charted both, like what kind of advice I guess would you have for the tech people transitioning to stamina people, or stamina players transitioning to tech, both as playing but also as step charting?
So for step charting, I feel like one thing, and you know, I'll be totally open here. I'm very biased. I only have my perspective. I only have my perception of what I think the interaction there is. But you know, perception is reality. I would say that the number one thing that I think most, and this for people who like primarily or solely play and chart tech, who want to better understand, I won't say stamina, I'll say the stream writing metagame.
Okay.
Is to take the first step. Because so many step artists and so many players I see, they're like, they don't play stamina at all, or they only play it like at a very high level. Like to them, it's still just it's just a bunch of arrows. You know, it's just mindless arrows. And it's like, if they took the time and the effort to see all of the structuring, all the planning, how it's possible to represent the same sounds with an abstract group of arrows as opposed to like a micro, this is a foot switch, this is a bracket, like they'd realize that you can put just as much, if not more, effort into stream patterning as you can tech writing, which in turn will make your tech charts feel that much more like a cohesive, well-rounded, complete package, because it's so common. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm very much a modernist when it comes to ITG.
Okay.
Things that were acceptable some years in the past, like, oh well, here's you know, a 6-arrow tower, right? It's like, oh well back in the day that was okay, and I get that. That's fine. That's cool. I get it. But it doesn't work now. Well, pad modding has changed. Footwear has changed. The way charts are written has changed. The goal of like we don't play with the boys on. You know, we don't play like a great is unheard of. We measure our discrepancies in excellence. You know, things have changed. So it's like, you know, okay, yeah, in 2007 you had like Inner Universe. I don't know when Inner Universe actually came out, but like the stream part of Inner Universe is like 3 measures of mono box or drills, and it's like, okay, cool, that's a classic chart. Everyone knows it, but like that doesn't mean it's the standard for quality anymore.
Okay.
So looping all that right back around to here, it's like I feel like a lot of tech players feel like that 16th streams, even if it's just like a measure or a measure and a half long snare run, they feel like they're like just an irrelevant afterthought. It's like, oh well, I just need to put some arrows here, and it's like, for me, because I'm an artist, that breaks the immersion that I have into your chart as a piece of art. Okay. It's like, wow, this foot switch use is absolutely keen, and it's like you have, the left down down right, and then you mix it up with like a up down down right, and it's like the you have all of this thought put into crafting all of the tech, and then it's like, here's a measure long run, and it's like 12 arrows facing the same direction with no movement.
Okay.
That makes me feel like you didn't care.
Okay.
So like my thing would be my first step for like tech artists would be like, understand that your 16th streams, even if it's just a measure of run, need to have more thought put into them for player comfort. Like, because a measure of boxes is uncomfortable and hard. But if it's just like a gentle little snare build up, you don't want it to be uncomfortable and hard because it breaks the theming from your chart.
Okay.
So, for tech artists, understand that you shouldn't poo-poo and disregard basic stream meta. It's not hard to learn. Now, for stamina people trying to get into tech, for charting or playing?
Let's keep it to charting.
Charting, okay.
That was mostly about charting.
Alright, for stamina players trying to learn how to write tech, the first thing I would say to do is learn how to sync.
Got him.
But more seriously, more importantly, one thing I think that a lot of stamina people have, speaking with someone who is a very, very high quality, legendary, I would say, stamina artist who has been recently trying to get into tech writing, Zaya. And this is way in the past when he was first like thinking about it. Learning how to properly structure like a song cut is actually pretty tough. So really
what do you mean by that?
So most tech charts are 2.5 minutes or less. For some people, and maybe this was just him, but for some people like who are used to charting like 7-minute long stamina songs, trying to figure out how to cut a song to keep it concise but like not repetitive and get all the cool juicy bits in there, it's hard to learn.
Okay.
But yeah, so also I'm not sure because, and maybe I'm just being pessimistic or cynical, but I see more tech people trying to get into stamina and making lower quality content than I do stamina people trying to get into tech and make low quality content. I don't know why that is, and maybe it's just my sample size.
I have been thinking about this a little bit. As correct me where I'm wrong, because obviously I don't step chart a lot.
Yeah.
But so steps at the end of the day are representations of the music through how you move, right? And because stamina is inherently more abstract than tech.
Yeah.
It's the difference between like painting a picture of someone that exists, where you're like. You're measured on how much it actually how much it looks like them, versus like trying to paint a picture of like how someone makes you feel.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's not that one's harder; it's that
they're graded by different rubrics.
They're graded by different rubrics, but also the abstraction. You have to necessarily think, this thing makes me feel this way, so I'm going to represent it this way, right? So once you move back into tech. Where those things are a little more concrete, it probably comes a little more naturally. Is that something that makes any sense?
I think that's pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of like the pro or the way I'm thinking about it, and
it makes sense.
And this is not to say that concrete is, or this is not to say that FA is less art.
No, if anything, I feel like I'm harder on like people who write and play FA because I am one of them, and I'm like my logic is, oh well, if I could get good at writing stamina and understanding all this stuff, why can't you?
Yes.
Basically, what it comes down to is I'm actually a huge dick, and
He says this. You know,
I don't understand how I have friends.
Full closure. I'm Trevor's friend. I don't. He always talks about, oh, I'm a dick. I think he's being critical. It's, you know, what do you think in the comments? For the representation of sounds in your step chart, is there a formula you use? Do you feel it out? Like, how do you determine this noise right here is a foot switch versus this noise here is like a bracket?
Dude, I don't know. I just do what the music tells me. It's really hard to put it into words because it is... Part of it is, like, impulsive feeling, like what the music says. This should be a foot switch. This should be a bracket. This should, yeah. Like, I don't overthink it because I just do what, like, as a player, I would expect this sound to be, or as an artist, like what the sound speaks to me. But at the same time, it's like I also have to zoom out and like get a picture of the whole, where it's like, I have to get a picture of the whole because certain parts of a song they're basically like evolutions or like the next step in the same sound. So I would like, oh well, if this sound was a foot switch, this sound, which is that sound but like more is a side switch. And I have to be sparing with that because then it's like, oh, now I'm just overloading it with side switches and that's annoying and it breaks the theming because now it feels like this normal foot switch is out of place.
Okay.
So it's, you know, it's like cooking, you know, it's like a little bit of that chili powder. It's like, woo, that gives it the spice. But then it's like if you just dump a thing of chili powder on top of like a filet mignon, don't season your filet mignon with chili powder. That's a bad example. Terrible idea. It's like, well, now you're just eating a big pile of chili powder with steak seasoning. That doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all.
So then,
like here, as an example, what do you have on this motherfucker?
I gotta start OBS on here.
Oh, you haven't started OBS? What a terrible interviewer.
True.
There's gonna be the best jump cut ever.
Oh, dude, there's gonna be nothing. But certainly, when you asked that question, nothing transpired. Hey, care if I like pee real quick? So we are here, and now we're back.
What was I saying?
You're talking about.
Oh yes. So right here in ecology, like. So the question here is, Trevor, why did you make this sound? Why did you make that a foot switch? And it's like, my answer is like, well, it's partially like the sound on this 16th and this 16th are the same. Yeah. But there's this delay here, so it's kind of like, and I just was like, I can make that a foot switch. It just works, you know?
Yeah, because so
it's the same tone. It's the same like, pitch. It's the same note. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it's like these two and these two are like the same sound.
Okay.
So like I don't know. It just spoke foot switch to me.
Gotcha.
But so that's the feel part of it.
Gotcha.
So then we go down here. Now this one's a side switch. Okay. So we have this sound. Now we have the side switch sound. Now listen. So that's a different sound. Completely different sound. It's probably a different instrument. I don't know what Camellia used to make. It's probably a different instrument altogether.
Yeah.
But rhythmically, it's the same.
Yeah.
So I thought, well, I need to have some sort of callback, some sort of homage to the sound that it just made.
Yeah.
But I can't make it be the same thing because it's a different thing, but it's the same rhythm. So I was like, well, what can I do to accent that? Yeah. It's all a matter of accenting and consistency. You have two bars. Like you have like if you ever played here we'll play this sound like in comparison to
just what you call it? Just play it all the way through.
Yeah. So and we can just dim the audio or whatever so you can hear me. Yeah. So if you have a bar, and you have a slider that you can adjust, and one side of the bar is perfect consistency, and one side of the bar is total musical flair with no consistency.
Yeah.
Just doing as much crazy stuff as you can to accent the music, and then you have picking one thing that works for one sound and sticking to it with ultimate rigidity. You have a slider, and you just have to adjust, and right in the middle, sometimes right in the middle, that's usually where you want to be. You want to be able to accent all the music, but you need to stick to some sort of consistent theme.
Yeah.
But sometimes you gotta go a little crazy, and you just gotta do what feels right. But other times you just gotta stay consistent. I mean, it's. I feel like one thing that is really important for step artists, for tech or stamina, is building a strong and consistent theme and not breaking it until you need to. Because that's what makes and breaks charts is when you establish a set of rules. This sound's a foot switch. Yeah. This sound is a Lucci for this sound is a mono sweep. This sound's a bracket.
Yeah.
Or this sounds just a normal step.
Yep.
When you break that consistency, that's where that's where the charm comes in. That's where the soul is.
Okay. I think
you find ways to break your own rules that are very obvious yet somehow still make perfect sense.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. I think that's called dynamics in music. I know that in music, which makes sense because step charting is based on music. I know that the idea of using loud and quiet sounds to contrast each other is a thing. I think it's called dynamics. I don't do music, but it makes sense that the same thing would exist in step charts.
I guess.
Oh. No, that's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this started off as you asking what tech the difference between tech art, people trying to get into stamina people getting into tech, and we kind of segued into the very high levels of design basis. So let's get back to I don't know if you want to start over with a different question or kind of bring it back to where we started. That's my bad, folks.
No, it's good.
I went on a tangent.
No, it's a good tangent. That's very interesting.
Clementines.
It's very interesting, and also having an example is very important.
Mm-hmm. As I said before, I'm definitely a modernist when it comes to charting.
I actually have that. Now that you brought that up, what does that mean?
New, good, old, bad.
Okay.
Why old, bad? Because old.
Okay.
Tev can't use word to describe itself. Fuck you. Old, bad.
Old, bad.
Why do old when you can do new and do better with better understanding?
But why is there better understanding now, I guess, in your opinion?
Because I feel like it's a natural evolution where eventually a natural part of art, where yes, because this is an art, a natural part of art is that eventually you get bored with what you have available and you start experimenting. Mm-hmm. You start doing wacky shit. You just start throwing stuff at the wall to see what works.
Sorry, that was vibrating.
Yeah, it's
on the microphone.
I'm gonna stick it on.
Sorry. So you throw wacky.
So you start throwing shit at the wall to see what works. Mm-hmm. You just start, because hell, you got people who are the world record on arcology is 2 excellence and a great.
Okay.
And it's one of the most bonkers fucking step charts I've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
The Skittles literally they're just fucking sounds. They don't have rhythm, and people FFC it. So eventually, you just as an artist, you want to you don't want to get boring. You don't want to get behind the times. You don't want to be oh well, they only make auto quad stuff because auto quad stuff is going up every day because everyone in this game is so fucking good.
Yes.
Don't cut that out.
I'm not gonna cut that out, man. That was good.
So you start just trying crazy new stuff.
Okay.
Right? So that's what I mean by, like, as a modernist, is that, like, I am all about the new stuff. Now, like, some stuff, like, I make, like, I charted a 128 BPM Complextro 11 the other day. And, like, is that gonna like, you know, shake, like, is that gonna be earth shaking? Is that gonna make waves of the community? Probably not. Is it fun to play? Yeah, it's fun. It's a great song. Mama Udofu, dude slaps. It's fun. It's, you know, it's like it's okay to have that, but, like, what really, like, gets me going is, like, when you have the collective, like, community knowledge available for tech and stamina and everything in between, and you just take it and you make some cutting edge, really well crafted chart, and, like, you try new stuff with it. Like, I'm, like, all about that. So it's like, why would you want to go back and play something, the same chart that you've played for 10 years that was made in 2008, when you had people, like, making mind-boggling new stuff that's like, I can't believe you thought of a way to tie that movement to that sound in such a fluid manner. Why would you go back to 6 measure long towers when you can play that?
Okay.
That's what I say. That's what I mean when I'm a modernist.
Okay.
Like, the meta has evolved to the point so much now where, like, yeah, there are certain ground rules that it's a little restrictive because, like, oh, well, you can't make that sound a bracket, which, you know, I'm not so sure about that. You can do whatever you want. But it's like, so yeah, the meta's a little restrictive in that manner, but it's like, the fact that we know so many different techniques are usable now. Like, what is considered normal is, like, the crazy shit from back in the day. So why live back in the day? Let's take what we can do now and grow it.
Okay.
So that's what I mean.
Okay. That makes sense. Why'd you make the transition to chart stamina?
As I started playing more stamina, I realized, like, as I'm playing, like, wow, that anchor matched the music perfectly. Wow, that, you know, like, I was like, it dawned on me, I was like, there's just as much, like, musical relevance and structure in this stuff as there is in my tech charts that I never realized was there beforehand because I never really played stamina. So I started looking at it, you know, and I started looking at Rims's charts and Zaya's charts. What really, I think, the thing that finally pushed me over into, like, getting to the point where, you know, okay, where I stepped from I'm a tech artist who is trying stamina to I'm a dual threat, and okay, that's a little egotistical. I'm not really a threat to anybody. I mean, look at these arms. I'm not threatening anybody. The where I transitioned into, like, okay, I'm a dual threat now is when I started talking to Storytime. I made a few very, very basic, like, you know, stamina charts, and I sent them to him, and I, you know, he explained to me what he thought when he saw them, what he thought when he makes charts, all this kind of stuff. And that was, like, the first part where I was, like, really started beginning to understand the effort, the planning, the structuring that goes into writing stamina. And then it kind of dawned on me. I was like, I got to the point where I won't say I was, like, the end-all be-all God among men master of writing tech charts, but I got to the point where I was like, I'd listen to a song, you know, listening to some 140 BPM EDM song, and I'm just like, there's a foot switch, there's a bracket, that's a crossover.
So you'd say you're
I got bored of it.
Yeah, you're comfortable enough into it. You know, like, you can. I don't want to say shit it out. That's not the right way to say it.
No, I definitely was shitting it out.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
100%.
You could shit out quality stuff. Right?
Yeah, like I wouldn't even have to think about it. Like, fucking, like, some of my biggest charts, like Bubble in the Air, it took me maybe 15 minutes to write.
No shit.
I didn't have to think about it. It charts itself in my head. I don't have to think about it. So I got to the point where I'm just like, okay, I've got this down. I can handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need to I need to continue growing my craft, because that's what it is. This is my passion project. I can't paint.
Yeah.
I can kind of sing. I can't paint. I can't draw. I can't. I have no creative outlet except for sim files.
Okay.
And the graphics and all that kind of stuff. But like, it's the patterning, the interpretation, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, if I don't branch out, I'm gonna stagnate. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to get to the point where I just get bored of it because it's just the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to learn how to do something else.
Yep.
And I didn't really want to learn like mods charts. I don't feel like learning how to do like the mods the stuff you have to do for mod, which that's hella impressive. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
Holy crap!
Not enough love for the mods.
Yeah, shout out to mods. Like I don't play mods like often. I don't play mods, and like I don't know like. At that point, like it's not even about the step chart. It's like it's about what you're bending the game to your will to do crazy shit. That's pretty wild.
That one's a good one.
That one's a good one.
That's
But like, so like I didn't want to get into that. So I was like, well, what's the next best thing? And this was around the time when I was kind of, the beer was getting in my gut, and I needed to lose some weight. Which that's for all my best efforts. I'm still going up and not down.
Same dude.
Fatty.
Let me have some more beer though.
Yeah. But no, so I started doing the stamina because I was like, I don't want to be confined to this one lane of, I can't chart this. It's 190 BPM. That's too fast. Like, no, I want to be able to do whatever. I can do anything.
Okay.
That's when I started trying to race. And also because I started playing stamina, and I was like, oh, I appreciate the artwork behind this, and I want to learn how to do it.
Okay, so what is the future in your eyes for you as a stepped artist, or just in general ITG content?
Doubles are neglected. There's only like 3 people in the world who write doubles right now, maybe 4 for customs.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them are kind of just losing interest in doing it. And, there's at least 6 or 7 people in the world who play doubles, and I figure I can learn how to do that too.
Doubles is fun as shit. I would play more doubles if I didn't have one side, modded for stamina.
Well, that's your fault.
It is my fault, but doubles is fun as fuck. Play doubles.
So yeah, that, and just generally up until like Skittles selection 6, I'd say. I would just like, some of my stuff was like heavy tech, but some of it was just like really plain, And now it's like, now not only am I like writing some really stupid tech stuff, honestly. Look forward to Prickly Pear's Pop and Pack. We'll get it finished eventually. I think we're 95% waiting on me to write my lowers.
Dude, just don't write the lowers.
I gotta write the lowers.
Don't write the lowers.
I gotta write the lowers. Anyway, so the thing is, now not only am I like really good at, your camera just died.
This is the part of the show that we will go through some old sim files of yours and see how they are.
You said you had a few you wanted to discuss.
Oh, I have chosen them previously.
I'm going to look directly into the camera for this one. Yep. So, for the record, a lot of these sim files may not actually be available for distribution anymore because I'm embarrassed by them and they suck. And I don't let people download them anymore.
That's all right. It's about the evolution of an artist.
See, this is going to be the really fun part where he like tries to find where he saved them on his computer.
Oh, I know where they are. This one I prepared.
Fucker.
Okay.
No!
So the first charts. It's called Return to the NHK.
Nope. Just gonna, nope.
Oh my god. Come back out here. We're gonna watch this return to the NHK chart.
Oh.
Okay, so this is from Skittles Selection 1.
Is it really from 1?
This is Skittles Selection 1, which I think is just called Skittles Selection.
Yeah.
And this is Return to the NHK by Gorshit. So we're gonna go through it. If you want, to stop to comment.
All right. Yeah.
You know what the spacebar does. Good.
So, I don't even remember this fucking chart. Hang on, let me...
Okay. So, shall we?
Yeah.
Hit it loud so we can sync the audio. By the way, I like how there's no intro, just starts.
That's pretty much the whole chart. It just does that through the entire fucking song.
I think there's a couple extra areas.
Are there? I don't remember.
There are. So I like that. This is kind of what like hard stamina charts looked like back in the day.
I have nothing to say about this because it literally there's. Was that a crossover?
It could have been.
Oh
That was a cross. There is a crossover right there.
Is that even synced?
I don't think that's synced.
That's not synced at all.
It's close.
No, it's not.
It's close.
Because if you take it, look. If you take this, you gotta subtract 9. That's not close at all.
No, I mean, what if it was bring it up 9? Maybe it was already subtracted on 9.
It wasn't.
Oh no. Well, okay, so it wasn't synced.
Okay, so let's talk about this chart. It's not synced.
No, it's not.
The patterning does not go to the music. It's just random.
No, wait, it does go to the music. So wait, hit the. Can you turn off the sync?
Wait a minute, that's a double step. It's a double step.
Which one's the double step?
That.
Let's
look. Look. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left.
Left. That's not is that a double step?
Yes, that's a fucking double step.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, that is a double step.
There's a box. There's an anchor. Why is it there? Why is that there? Why is any of this here? There's a crossover that goes to nothing.
There was the whatchamacallit. I think it's interesting in this chart what you chose.
No, it's garbage.
Yeah.
Why are these mines here?
Oh, it's because you're doing crossovers.
But why are there crossovers? Now there's anchor candles.
Oh, you're doing crossovers. You can't. Your foot shouldn't be there because you're crossing over.
Oh, high quality.
No, this is because actually.
Dig it. What is that?
No. Wait 1 second. Let's bring up this thing.
No, fuck you. This is garbage.
Listen. This is background noise.
Okay, so I'm not gonna talk about this.
I think I like because this has abstraction that stamina charts.
What I'm gonna talk about is the fact that this wasn't intended to be a stamina chart, so fuck you.
Also a 12. I don't think this is a 12. I think this one might be a 13.
I don't fucking know. I didn't even have access to a pad when I wrote this.
Really?
No.
Interesting.
Fuck. So, the only thing did I seriously write that?
Yeah, that was a stop. That's a good stop. That's where the music should stop. No, because this makes sense, right?
No, it doesn't!
I think it does. I think it does because I think you were. There are things that you were going for because I think this one's. I guess the plainness of it is like a. When I was going through the plainness of it is because that doesn't have a lot of musical shit to make like a tech chart out of.
This is a song that nowadays, remember when I was saying I'm more choosy with songs that I chart?
Yeah.
This is why. Because that song doesn't do anything. It's like an 8-measure loop.
Yes.
Like there's like 2 different 8-measure loops that just repeat in the entire song. The song doesn't make for a good step chart no matter what you do. Even if I charted this as a stamina chart, like just pure like 16th streams, I wouldn't chart this one because it only does like 2 things.
I think it would be a very alright at best stamina chart.
At best.
Yes.
So that's the number one thing about this chart is that there isn't enough music in the song to warrant a chart. To say nothing of the horrendous like musical relation, like it's the patterning, the comfort, like to say nothing of everything about the chart itself that makes it bad. The song, because holy shit, it's bad. The song itself should not have been charted.
And that's the thing is, even though this is very early in your step chart career, you did, in my opinion, there's a nugget here. There's like a nugget of something good because you did pick up on the musical differences inside the songs, right? Is something that I did see.
Yeah, I did.
The difference, like
I was already understanding like the concept of like I didn't realize I understood it, but conceptually I was beginning to understand the concept of like musical layering.
Yes.
And I think this stems from the fact that like I took band in middle school. I took 3 years of band in middle school, which it took me very basic. It's middle school band, but like there's a lot about like music theory that I think like if you took no music education whatsoever, you wouldn't catch when you're listening to a song. So
yes, so I think you got that there, which is why I thought it was a particularly interesting chart. Is because most of the things you chose to step like the original rhythms are like boo boo choppa dippa doo cha, boo boo choppa dippa doo cha kind of rhythms. I don't think it's that exactly. But then they kind of like add this like little gallopy thing in there. You charted the little gallopy thing, which is like a little flare, and then those like little like runs.
I wanted to do something with the new part of the music that came in. Like obviously this song didn't really lend itself to like exceptional flair, but like something new came in, so like artistically I was like I need to represent the new thing.
Yes. And so it's I think it's like a very good like they get it, little refinement, but then like you know it's gonna be good.
I wouldn't even say this is rough around the edges. This is trash. But I had a baseline understanding.
Like it's not just random though. It's
not just like random garbage. Well, there's a lot of it's just random garbage, but
yeah.
All right, what else you got for me? Let's see what else you got going on here.
We're gonna do better charts now. So
thank Christ.
This is a I'm gonna say mid-career chart from Skittles 5. It is called Grand Slam.
Let's see if I sync to this. I don't know if. Let me see here. Let's see. It is synced.
It's
synced. All right.
Hell yeah.
I don't know like if the cuts are good, but it is synced.
Bring us through the chart.
Okay.
Whoa, that's too fast.
So Grand Slam. So this one's interesting. I'll stop real quick. Grand Slam. This one was round 2 of Tech Showcase 3. So prior to this, I had actually gotten second place in the Redemption Finals of Tech Showcase 2, with Treaty of Peace between Glitch Hop and Moomba Core. So this chart was probably... This is when I started to better understand really the basics of like using like musical emphasis and tech. So I'll just play through it, I guess, and I'll stop it when I feel like talking. There's Alita, because it helps you better understand timing.
Speed's important.
Yeah. So I was kind of having some basic understanding with like eighth note emphasis here.
I like the zones being the whole notes. That's good.
So like foot switches, we like those, right? Let's look at this section real quick, because this was actually the hardest part for me to chart because back when I first charted this, I hadn't quite developed the sense of like when I hear songs, the tech just charts itself. I had to work at it. So one thing I want to talk about right here. So I've established, and this was at the time I had to really think about this. This was very difficult for me to develop. Now it kind of comes to me naturally. But one thing I mentioned way back in the beginning of this was like setting the rules for a certain like musical emphasis, musical tech, and then like stepping them up for when the music evolves on itself. So pay attention to this. This was very important to me because it was very hard for me to design this, and this kind of stuff is the stuff that I have internalized and just do naturally without thinking when I'm making charts now. So right here, I established these foot switches. Now, granted, these days, if I did these mines, it would just be one mine, because two mines gets cluttered and it's hard to read. It's player unfriendly. We're not going to worry about that right now. So I established these foot switches. So now here's the next part. Now you listen to this, and I wish I could like blank out, like the don't look at the chart, like close your eyes and listen to the music.
Okay.
So obviously open your eyes now. So I established right here that with this musical progression, with the same sound. So those are foot switches. But if you listen again right here, same rhythm, but like it's got more oomph to it, It's the same rhythm, but it's it's like it's got the like there's some power, there's some flair behind that.
Is that why they are side switches?
That is why they are side switches. It's the same rhythm, but I was like, I need to further emphasize the fact they're side switches.
So you choose a harder pattern.
I choose a harder pattern. Now,
analogous but harder.
Yeah, analogous but harder. Now, in hindsight, and granted, at the time I didn't think about this kind of stuff, but in hindsight, you notice how this is like a non-candled crossover, and this is a candled crossover for those side switches. Nowadays, I would make these the same because they're the same sound leading into that side switch, because like at the time, like I was like, okay, this needs to be a side switch. I wasn't thinking about the crossover into the side switch, which is just as an important part of developing this tech. So that was something that I developed as I grew into writing tech. A very big thing for me now is sound consistency.
What is define that, because I have no idea what that means.
I mean, it's as simple as if this sound has a candle crossover side switch, when the sound comes back, if it does not have a candle crossover side switch, it breaks the consistency, because which breaks the theming of the chart as a whole, which makes it seem like a less cohesive whole. So this one is, up, down, up, with your left foot, starting with your left foot, up,
Yep.
down, up, left.
Yes.
So that's a crossover into a side switch.
Yep.
But right here, it's right, down, left, which is a crossover, like a candle crossover, because it goes across the center into a side switch. Now, rhythmically, I'd have to think about this, and obviously right now, very high level. I might be wrong. There might not be a way to do this easily.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would go for today would be, this one does not have a candle crossover. This one does. But they are...
Do you, on the fly edit it in? Kind of instead of doing it like that, could you say, kind of what you would do?
In a perfect world, if the music would let me do so without breaking, sound accuracy and all that, I would pick one or the other. This would be a candle in some shape, form, or fashion. We would make this a candle like that,
Oh, okay. So then the candle gets the first one's a candle crossover, and then the
second one's a candle crossover. I would make them consistent, because that makes it seem like a more cohesive whole. Because it's the same sound.
Yeah,
it's the same sound, but this one's a candle crossover. This one's not a candle crossover. Just baby steps towards where I am now.
Yes.
So I was beginning to understand at this point.
Okay. Yeah, keep that in your life.
Yeah, I'll keep going. It just repeats. Same kind of thing right here. Nothing really to talk about this part. Just a build-up part.
Yeah. Well, the usual game notes.
Yeah, the rest of it is I'm actually pretty proud of this part right now. Yeah, I feel like I used split switches pretty well right here. Nothing really to talk about with this part. I don't think I'd change much if I recharted the song today.
So why you've been talking a lot about hating towers and monos and stuff like that. So why were towers justified there?
Why were they justified here? This is thank you. This is good. So they're justified in my opinion.
Yes.
And trust me, I've gotten into plenty of arguments about towers and mono with people, and they're very opinionated like I am, and we basically come just short of bloodshed. But I feel like they were justified here because if you listen, it's the same two notes. Digga 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 digga. It's you want to emphasize that. Yeah. You want to emphasize that here because it's a very hype part of the music. Yeah. It's the strong synth melodic lead.
Yes.
And it's basically a trill.
Yeah.
Now what I see people doing is during boring snare runs or parts where the synth is moving, growing, expanding, more exciting, not just two notes. They just they'll throw in a box or a tower and it's no, the music does not say it's just two arrows. The music has movement, the music has energy, the music has action, the music has growth.
Yes.
When the music is moving, you want the player to move. Yeah. So right here, you just see two arrows, digging it left, right, or right up, whatever. You see that because that's all the music is doing. Yes. And people will take, they don't think, oh, well, I want to accent the music right here. They just think, well, I just want a box. I want a tower. Gotcha. Because towers are hard. It's no. You don't want to make stuff hard just to make it hard. You want it to match the music. And if it comes out easy, that's okay.
You're gonna have
that's okay.
You're gonna have to clarify for me this one. I know boxes are hard is a stamina thing. Is that true in the FA? Because I feel like the FA community,
yes,
in general, thinks boxes are easy.
Dude, I don't fucking know. I play both.
Okay, I just wanted to know because it seems when I play an FA chart, they try to make their runs easy as possible, right?
Then they shouldn't do boxes because it's not easy. They don't it's a misunderstanding.
Okay.
They think, oh, no movement, easy. When Literally every pad from here to Kingdom Come is modded to the dick and back to be flush as hell. You have to fucking high step that shit to hit boxes. Don't do that. Scoodles, no candles. It's easy. It's much easier than boxes. Don't do boxes.
No
boxes
boxes?
are bad.
No boxes?
Well, no, they're bad. They're hard.
Okay.
Fuck.
Is this where the thing started? Yeah. Okay, this is where they started. Okay, cool. Yep. This is the break.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's nothing. There's, relevant foot switches. See, I wouldn't do this now because, like, it matches musically. Like, if you listen.
Yep.
Barely. I wouldn't do this now because, like, there's not much music behind this part that's saying this needs to be repeating boxes. I would just do, like, just typical 16th streams with no candles because it's a build-up. And I would, like, build into maybe a candle or two, like, here at the end. Like, yeah, I kind of figured it out right here.
Yeah.
Like, right there, like, I got some movement in. I was, like, beginning to cotton on to the idea of 16th meaning. Meaningful 16th.
But I feel like this is like a 2017 chart. I feel like boxes were still, like, easy back then,
I don't give a shit.
And then that's where the movement hit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the rest was just, like, a repeat of the beginning, actually. Yeah, there's some boxes. Like, there's nothing really to talk about here. All the exciting stuff's earlier. So this is when I began to, like, understand true musical relevance. Bring up the next subject.
That was good. Your little outro, because that one's a more focused chart than the first one. The first one was very much
holy shit. Return to the NHK, more like return me to the grave.
I like the first one, but it's good.
Bad.
So then we're gonna look into a chart from. Actually, I chose this chart because you have said it on. I have footage that it is the greatest chart you have made. It is bubble in the air.
Yeah, it's fucking flawless.
Full disclosure, I haven't played the other two previous charts. I had to look them up previous to this interview. But Bubble in the Air I played the shit out of. And this is a very fun chart. I am mind blocked to fuck on this. So, do you want to come through and explain the thought process through this chart?
I can try, but like the chart just it charted itself.
But I mean, that's the thing is like you had to cut it, right? Like you had to cut and then choose which parts. Like certainly the song is longer than
it's like it's like fucking 7 minutes long.
I could not do 7 minutes of Bubble in the Air. When you wanted to bring it down to a 2-minute song from a 7-minute song about, let's say,
5 minutes. I'm exaggerating.
5 minutes is still a lot. So when you wanted to bring it down from a 5-minute song to a 2-minute song, like what did you choose?
So the thing with Bubble in the Air, the full version is that it starts off with like 32 measures of lead in. And I wanted to start it off with something like really explosive. So I cut it to like 4 measures into like after the lead in. And then like there's a part in the middle where it like drops to silence and it basically just repeats the first 32 measures. I just cut all that shit out. I just was like just juice, as many of the unique parts of the song as I could. I left enough two 8-measure segments to form like a recurring motif. Because that's the thing with 2-minute tech chart cuts is that you don't need 4 iterations of a thing to form a motif. You need 2 at max to form a motif, a recurring motif.
Yeah. So
I just cut it down to 2, and then I just cut everything out that wasn't a unique, non-repeated portion of the song.
Okay.
And then I just fucking literally went through and did exactly what I thought made sense at the time without like doing anything completely out of the ordinary and like tried to make sure that all my crossover use matched itself and all that kind of shit.
This one, what you call it? Now, because I actually played this one, I have commentary too.
Oh,
you get player commentary with this one.
Fuck me.
You get player commentary. This one right here. That's an excellent. Why do I get an excellent on this one, Trevor?
Because you're fucking bad. I don't. What the fuck kind of question is that?
I don't know. Like, okay, this one I get an excellent on, right?
It's the snares and the music, bitch. What you want me to do?
I don't get an excellent on this one, Christian. Fuck, why do I call you Christian all the time?
Dude, I'm not here to talk about why you get excellence on my charts. I'm here to talk about why my charts either suck or kick ass.
Okay, let's move it through it.
And the music.
It is in the music, but like,
yeah, there you go. I don't
get excellence on this one. I don't get excellence on these ones.
It's not my fucking problem.
I don't get excellence. What's wrong with it?
Nothing is wrong with it. This is the best chart I've ever made.
These are cool. I really like how you mix the rhythms here, right?
Yeah, I just wasn't thinking about it. I just kind of.
Honestly, like the best chart, like you just fucking like stream of conscious your best chart.
That's literally every chart I make.
Well, you know, not the one previous to this one, but like.
Yeah, it's because I was fucking bad.
But now it's like streamed.
Yeah, now it's just like, yeah, whatever. This is a crossover. This is a foot switch. This is a bracket. Whatever. You know, like.
That's the thing.
And I feel like an asshole for saying this, but like, I don't like. I have a lot of trouble empathizing with people who are like, oh, I had to really think about this chart. I'm like, hi. I don't think about this shit. It just comes out. Like, it's in the music. You don't have to think about it. Just listen to the song.
You know, that's probably more of like a testament to like that you really honed your craft over so much amount of time, right?
No, it means I'm a dick.
No, I don't think that means. I don't think that means you're a dick. But you know. It's so much fun, and I really like that this part.
It's because my 16th patterning is meaningful because I learned how to chart stamina because I'm not an asshole who thinks that 16th strings don't matter.
They do.
Yeah, because that's why this chart's so good. It's a complete package, everything about it.
Mm-hmm.
That box makes sense. I don't just throw boxes in for no fucking reason.
That's a good chart.
It's a fucking great
Super
chart.
fun to play. So you know, it is one of the charts that like, cause like you know like people know like I invite people to my house, they see the dance game machine, and then they're like, oh my god, you gotta play a song. And I'm like, I really don't want to fucking play a song, but okay. This is one of the songs I choose.
Yeah, because it's a 12 that's actually like easy.
It is. It's the whole thing is like it's not easy. It's a 12. I think it's a solid 12.
Like literally everything's downhill from here.
I don't think that's true.
No, it's totally true.
I mean, you can make an equivalent to Bubble in the Air, right?
Yeah, but then it would just be a copycat of Bubble in the Air. It wouldn't have the same impact artistically.
You know, like you talk to people about art and they're like, there is no 10 out of 10s. Nothing is perfect, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, and they're right, but by that same logic, there's very few 9 out of 10s, and this is one of them.
No, but that's why I'm thinking is like, I think something is a 10 out of a 10. If it doesn't mean it's perfect, but like it's a you cannot
improve it any further.
Yeah, you cannot think of anything to improve it at the time.
This is it.
And then that's it. Like, cause I don't think anything in that chart can be done better. Like, I think that chart is done as good.
There's literally no way I can improve Bubble in the Air. Even now with all of the knowledge I have and stamina charting, tech charting, experimental stuff, there's nothing I could do to change. Like, I wouldn't change it. Like, I went back and I looked at Hypnotize from Chicago Timing Authority, and I was like, the only things I would change from this would be taste. Now that, granted, was early in my career. That was more luck. That was like I won't say a fluke, but that was more luck. I just kind of like, there was a lot of stuff that I don't think about now that I think about now that I wasn't thinking about then, that I just happened to get right. Mm-hmm. Other than the graphics, which I fixed. If you haven't downloaded the new graphics for Hypnotized, Please do. They're a lot better.
Listen to it here.
Please, God, download the new graphics for Hypnotized.
You heard it here, folks.
If you can't find them, DM me. I'll send them to you. Please, God, the old graphics are so bad. So you wanna wrap this bad boy up?
Let's wrap it up.
Wrap this bad boy up.
Let's wrap this bad boy up. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for letting me run my mouth.
Thanks for having some beers and talking about dance games, which we all love.
We pretend to hate them.
Only pretend, though.
We pretend to hate them, but we love them.
If you are a content creator in the dance game community and you want to do something like this, it doesn't have to be beers, but I'd love to interview you. Please reach out to me.
He's a good dude.
And with that, you have anything else you want to add?
Docs is bad.
Thank you for watching.